I'm going to take these off quick, and we're going to talk about some different ways of doing titles. So the other video I showed you how to do a basic title, which is just throwing down some text. Let's say something awesome like spiffy, because I use that word a lot in these videos, and I didn't notice that until I was editing them, and I was scared. Let's use poplar. No, I use poplar all the time apparently. Let's use something like 6 caps. 6 caps is a fun font. I'm just gonna make this huge. Oh yeah, I guess that's as huge as it'll go. Be huge. Go to my selection tool. Now we have spiffy. And we can also add a stroke to it, which is also white, so it doesn't make a difference. But if we change the color to something like bright green, it'll show pretty cool. So we have a black background, so we wouldn't be able to tell if we have a shadow on it, but you can add a shadow there. You can also just transform the text itself using these things, which I have another video where I did that. And we can also put masks and stuff, which we just did on the video. But the other way of doing this is a legacy version. But we want File, New, Legacy Title. Creates a title screen, and you put in a name. So let's call this Ethereal, because that's a fun word. And so again, we have this new screen that's up, and it gives you a bit more control of what your type is, and it also gives you some styles that if you want to have a cool title, but you don't really want to go into all the trouble of making something really new and original, you can just grab this. And so you're just going to drag again and write out Ethereal, and then we can move this anywhere we want. We can put multiple titles in this one title too, which is also really cool. So let's do that, because that's one of the best parts of using legacy titles is Ethereal. A journey. Yes. Let's be super that person. So we can, up here we have a size tool, which I have resized the box, so it's good to freak out. And then we can resize this one. We can move this one like all the way over here, and then this one all the way up here. Yay. We can add some tool. We have a bunch of tools on here, which is, we have transform tools, rotation, everything you saw on the other panel, plus gradient somewhere. We also have these legacy type tools, which we can create some really crazy things. Let's move this down a bit again. So just stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to do, I guess, is one thing. Just mess around with these a bit. Oh yeah. You can do a lot of cool stuff in the legacy title tool. But let's try to make one of these on our own. So again, let's grab, Ethereal. And we have we can move this to a solid, but we can also do a gradient, which is what gives it that kind of glowing look. We can do a 4-color gradient, and then we'll just mess around with these. So we just click on these. Let's do red, blue. Oh yeah, let's leave that green. Let's do a yellow. Yeah! Can you tell I'm having fun with this? I'm having fun with this. Can control the shadows, the background. And now let's mess with this font. Let's do something like phosphate. Oh yeah. Let's move this down a bit. And then we can mess with this one completely differently than this one, and they will be on this, but they'll be in the same title. So again, let's leave this as a solid. Like, let's give it a sheen and a texture. So the texture says it's. Well, I guess we'll have to add a texture. What pictures do I have on my computer? What do I have on my computer that's not copyrighted is a better question. Let's use this. Oh yeah, that looks delightful. So we have a sheen on it, which is giving it that little glow there. And we have the texture, which is there. Let's change the color from being white to like an ice blue. So you can see we have this little tiny stripe here, which is the sheen. We can change the size from being 10 points to 54. The angles, we have angle on it. Yeah. Offset. So you can just mess around a lot more with everything in this one. This is creating a really boring texture. So I'm just going to leave it off. Because I think this is way cooler. And let's change the font again. So going into here. And I already used 6 caps. Let's use Reenie Beanie. Yeah. You can also change if you have different weights in the font family, you can change to there. You can change the kerning in this too. So if you want this just really tight. Oh, it's so cute. But if you wanted this to be really long. So, or you could make this. Just spread this out a bit more. So it fills the screen a bit. So now that we have made a really awesome kind of 80s-esque title, we can just throw this down, and we have it right here in our project window. And we can just throw that on here. So you can see this is something we did using just the text tool, and this is something we did using the text in legacy titles up in the file under new legacy title. One other cool thing that we can do about this is we can go back into it and do anything we want, and we can change, be like, you know what, I don't like this green, I want it to be hot pink, because you know I always use hot pink everything. Or you could make it be white instead, or a solid black. Let's do that. Yeah, and it changes up here immediately, which is just lovely. You can also do text on a path. We have some pen tool stuff. We have alignments and things. So we just have a lot more control using the legacy title tool. But usually, let's be honest, if I'm doing something fast, I'm using the motion tab titles because it's just faster. And if I'm going to be really, really specific about my title, I'm going to go into Adobe Illustrator, make a title, and import it, and do it that way instead.